Should be going. Should be live.
I don't see anything on the screen.
We're live.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. There we go. Yeah, now I can hit the mute.
Oh my god.
All right.
We're live.
Live. Let me move this up. All right. So this was a song requested by our own JP. I don't know why he loves cheesy 80 songs, but he does. See if
He's a cheesy 80 kind of guy.
The cheesy 80 kind of guy. I wish I had a drum machine. It would go perfect with it. So hopefully, let's see if you guys can spot what movie this is from. Yeah. Silent darkness creeps into your soul and removes the light of self-control. The cave that holds you captive has no doors, burning with determination to even up the score. Hearts on fire, fire, strong desire. The Ramblecast is here. Hearts on fire, fevers rising high. Ramblecast is here.
It's a Rocky.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rocky Wacky what?
Rocky Hearts on Fire. I think it's Rocky 4.
You are correct.
I think it's the video version of where he's in the car, right?
Nope.
No, or is it when he's running?
No. Oh, it's the
When he's carrying the logs and he's in Russia?
yes, it's the workout sequence in Russia.
Or the guy from the United States is doing it the right way.
Tommy Gunn.
Yeah, and Tommy Gunn wasn't in that one. That was the 5.
No.
But he's Drogoff, or the Russian guy, is doing it. He's cheating basically because we know the Russians always cheat.
Yeah, he's on steroids.
Yeah,
it's all the barn scene where he's running in the snow and lifting up the ox cart. And then he cuts back between him and the Drago. Hitting the thing and the steroid injections. That's the song that's playing.
And then he ditches the guys that are the Russian KGB agents that are following him.
Yeah,
right. Spoiler if you haven't seen Rocky 4.
I
don't think that's a big spoiler, though. He ditches the KGB.
Well, again, it's well known fact that Rocky ended the Cold War because the Russians, you see, they started chanting for Rocky, and that ended the Cold War.
That did. It turned their hearts on fire. Is what
it did. We must tear down that wall.
I got that.
Tear it down.
I got that request. I was like, okay, I'll see what I can do. But it's that singer has that Bruce Springsteen raspy voice, so it's and I'm like,
who's the singer? Usually it's his brother, right?
Yeah, but your version though, I was getting a little bit more Eddie Vedder kind of vibe,
Vedder,
yeah, because he did have that ukulele album.
That's true, he did. I like that one.
I do too.
So, but usually it's his brother in this.
He sang at least one song in the first 3 films. I don't know if he did before.
Or maybe his brother was a communist and refused to do it because
he went to Russia.
Because it made the Russians look bad.
Well, the thing is that he was just the local street singer, in Philly, and so they're in Russia, so it's kind of hard to just get the Philly street singer in the middle of the snow in Russia.
I do Russian accent. I want to be in Russia. I want to be in Rocky 4.
I sing about guns and vodka.
And if we have any listeners I think we have a few listeners in Russia. We're just kidding.
Do we really?
I'm sure we have a few there.
No kidding.
Yeah. So here's a shot of vodka for you, right? Is that what they drink? That's their drink of choice?
I would. That's a stereotype that I believe is true.
Cool. I spent a lot of years, my younger years, in fear that we were going to get blown apart. So I think I'm allowed to pick on them once in a while, right?
Somebody posted. I probably read this a while back, but I've forgotten about it. Was that I think this is the day like this guy died years ago. He died in like 98 or something like that. But
Rocky?
No. Like just because you said getting blown apart as a kid, and it's like the submarine that we depth charged during the Cuban Missile Crisis to get it to come to the surface. It was a nuclear submarine, which we didn't know.
Wait, you're just talking about the Hunt for Red October.
Guess our old adversary. So you know how like you see it in most of our movies, you know, there's a captain and then an XO, and like in order to launch the missiles, you both of them have to concur. Well, in the Russian system,
now you're talking about the Clash of Titans.
Or Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide, yeah.
Crimson Tide, yeah. But in the Russian system, there was 3, and they didn't have nuclear missiles; they had nuclear torpedoes. And when they were being depth charged, 2 of the officers agreed to launch the nuclear torpedoes at our ships that were depth charging.
Oh, really?
And then the one guy said no because basically the communications had gotten taken out. And so it was just like Crimson Tide in that you don't know what the orders are. So he refused to fire the nuclear torpedo.
So the Russian Denzel Washington. He won out.
No. What about the nuclear attack? Is that an option?
The nuclear?
Yeah. Or is it just the nuclear?
I see. You're correcting my. I don't enunciate anything correctly.
I was imagining
George Bush the shit out of that one.
I was imagining Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap leapt into that guy right before he had the decision to turn the key.
That was another thing I learned because that show only had, is it 398 or 498? So it's 2 episodes shy of syndication through Quantum Leap. That's why it never
made it to 100.
It never made it to where it could qualify. I was like, oh, that's sad.
Well, how's that possible? In Gilligan's, there's no way Gilligan's Island has 100 episodes.
Oh yeah, they do. Sure,
no
Gilligan's Island. Yeah, Gilligan's Island was only on for like black and white.
Only on for 3 years, wasn't it?
No,
that wasn't around then.
But back then, like
Star Trek was only on 3 years, but they did like 35, 40 episodes a season, right?
I'm looking this up.
Star Trek
I know Star Trek only had 3 seasons.
3 seasons, yeah.
5-year mission. Well, fuck us. We're only going 3.
6 seasons.
Wow, actually, Gilligan's Island is at 99 episodes.
See?
Wow. Okay.
There you go. And it's never been off the air.
Jack's right. 3 seasons. But
you should never say that sentence ever that Jack is right.
I know I was right.
You should know better.
I know I was right. That's all that matters. Yeah, Quantum Leap. I haven't seen them all. That's
and
you think
Quantum
Netflix
Leap
or Hulu
97 episodes.
And Quantum Leap was 97. Okay, I was thinking 98.
Why you would think Quantum Leap would that would be a good show to reboot.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved Quantum Leap
because I've become a fan of the new Magnum PI. I didn't think I would be, but I'm enjoying it. I didn't want to. But
can we get Sequest too? I really miss the dolphin.
Well, Sequest it only lasted a year, didn't it?
I think 2.
Well, wait, is that one with Jaws?
Yeah, you're right, yes. Brody. Yeah.
That lasted 2 seasons.
I don't know.
3 seasons actually.
Really,
57 episodes.
Wow.
So
I just remember because I liked Ladybugs like a lot of my generation did, and then the kid from Ladybugs was the kid in that show. That's what I always remember about it.
He was the teen heartthrob that was who died too young.
He did. Yeah. Oh yeah, Janice wants to know where your cheese balls are at, Jack.
They're right here.
I broke out another can as well.
Okay, I'll open them right now.
Guys.
I've been staring at these. I've been staring at these cheese balls since Jay brought. I guess Jay finally felt guilty because I hinted enough that I wanted a box of a can. I haven't even opened them. See, they're still sealed. Yeah. So no cheating.
Fresh.
It's like Pringles though. Once you pop, you can't stop.
I said I'd try them live on the air. There we go.
You can't just have one.
These aren't bad.
Yeah, you got to do a handful.
I need to get some of those cheese balls, man.
All right, I see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I mean, because you can get the Utz ones, the generic ones, or like Cheetos, but it's just like there's something about
the puff is not the same.
It's not.
It has the right amount of cheese and
it does,
and the crunch.
Yeah,
it's got a good crunch to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like some Utz. Like my son will throw down, but the puff ball is a little different. The puff of the
All right,
formula.
It is. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
See the big deal. Go out and get yourself some Planters cheese balls.
I mean, sometimes you just catch it. Like I'm always glad. I'm grateful that
I can't stop now. I hate
I told you. Like once you start eating them, you're not going to stop. You're going to eat that whole can.
I'm trying to lose.
I'm always thankful that Dan will every now and then see it on Amazon. Like they'll repost them again for 12 cans for $24 or whatever, and you're just like, oh crap! So they'll just immediately order more.
The problem with Dan, what they're going to find is one day one of his victims are going to find residue.
Just
cheese
powder.
It's that fucking Dan. We finally got DNA on him.
I like to imagine the crime investigator coming up to the scene and like taking one little touch of the tongue, and be like, cheese balls.
Like like the 80s detective show where they always dip in the cocaine and go, yeah, we got cocaine here.
That's what I liked about what was the name of that show? It was a movie with Robert De Niro and Eddie Murphy. Showtime. Did you guys ever watch that movie?
No.
No.
It probably has horrible reviews, but I thought it was funny. And basically, it's they're trying some Hollywood producers are trying to make a buddy cop show, but they actually want to have real cops. But the thing is, real cops aren't really good actors, so they get Robert De Niro, who's a real cop, and then they get Eddie Murphy, who's like a really crappy actor, to be like the two on the show, and that's what happens. And then that's every time I see 80s or something like that do that, like they get William Shatner to come in and give them like cop acting lessons, and he's like. And so he takes the knife and puts it in the bag of cocaine, and he's like, what was his name? What was the show he did? William Shatner, he was a cop.
T.J. Hooker.
Yeah, he's like Hooker. Yeah, he puts his pinky in the cocaine, like licks on his tongue, he's like, Hooker knows it's cocaine, and then Robert De Niro goes, what if it's cyanide? Like it's like, oh shit, because you don't think about that, like you could easily die as well.
Yeah, when we were younger, we used to do our T.J. Hooker impression. If if we were following like a friend's car, we'd jump out of the car and jump on the hood, T.J. Hooker, and people would just look. They look on their, nowadays they'd film it, but back then we got no glory, we got nothing. And they would drive with us holding on the hood of the car, not really fast, just down the street, stoplights and stuff. It was
there's one cop stands out. Speaking of Eddie Murphy and hiring real police officers to be in a movie, the inspector from Beverly Hills Cop, the guy that's back in Detroit, like full boss.
Oh,
that guy
gets his ass chewed out, right?
All the time.
Yeah, that guy was an actual detective in the Detroit police department, and he nails it. Like that guy. Yeah. I mean, his performance and how he yells at him and just chews his ass out every time he's on screen.
Because Eddie tells him, he goes, "You still got a nice ass to me," or something like that, right?
Yeah, he does.
I didn't realize he was a real cop.
Yeah, and then he delivers that great line, like, "Don't fuck around with me," and he just like he just gives back whatever Eddie throws at him. So it's great.
What happened to Eddie Murphy? I know we said it before, but damn.
Yeah. He had that rough patch in the early 90s, and he never really recovered from that. Like he
tried to go bubblegum, and it just didn't work.
He had a few, because I like Daddy Daycare. I don't watch
Daddy Daycare is good. I like when he goes in the bathroom and there's crap
everywhere. I missed what I missed.
That's actually what Jack is doing right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Eddie Murphy does have a job lined up, however, because he is going to be part of the 2020 sequel to Coming to America.
I did hear that.
I did hear that.
I'm so worried about that though, because I mean, it's so good, the first one.
Are you do you care really though?
I don't really care, but like it's just it's such, because you have Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy, at their peak, wrote that. It's such a great film, and then I just can't see it being any better.
Yeah,
we got to have Eric LaSalle in it, right?
I'm not going to see it, so I mean,
you got to have Samuel L. Jackson.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Samuel L. Jackson's in that movie.
That's right, he is. Yeah, he's the guy that tries to rob the burger shop. The McDowell's.
McDowell's, yeah. At one point, Samuel L. Jackson was in every movie ever made.
He has. I think he has. I don't know if he's overtaken him yet. I know that Jerry Lewis had the longest IMDb, and I think Samuel Jackson is number 2. He could have overtaken him by now, though.
I didn't realize Jerry Lewis was that high.
Yeah, because he gets. He has a lot of other like credits, like writing, producing, and other than just acting.
And all those telethons. I mean, you just rack up tons of like
tons of hours in writing.
Yeah, acting.
Show me that's like a triple.
So you want to play? I think I shared this story before, but we'll play 6 degrees of Eddie Murphy.
Sure.
But we'll do it by 1 degree. My buddy Dave, the stuntman, shares an IMDb page with Eddie Murphy.
So your buddy's the one that killed his career.
Yeah. It was also Dave's last job that he had to.
Which movie was it?
1,000 Words.
Oh yeah, that movie was horrible.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard of Eddie Murphy's in this.
Yeah, it's kind of like Liar Liar, but not.
Right, like he like has like this. He's got 1,000 words before he dies, or something like that, and he has.
Wow! I was gonna watch it, but I was sick the day it came out.
I used to actually think that when I was a kid. I used to think like there's only so many words that you have to say until that's it.
I thought that's how it should be.
We'd all be dead,
dude. So dead. And you actually lose 2 words every time you cut somebody off. I'd be fucked.
you lose 5.
Sorry,
words.
Chris is no longer with us.
Every time you say the word.
Welcome to the Ramblecast, episode 3. We're down a host. Sorry.
You all become Garth. I'm having a good time.
Yeah. So Jack, I texted this in the notes on the side there. I don't know if you saw it or not, but it's pretty cool. To my left, as you can see, I keep turning my head. I am paying attention to the show. I'm just keeping one eye on the TV as well. But your Carolina Hurricanes are playing my Boston Bruins tonight.
The Canes still up. They were up 2-0 last time I checked.
No, they're down 3-2.
3-2. What happened?
The Bruins are on fire. Is what happened. They're unbeatable right now.
The Canes are on fire.
I know. But the Canes are rocking the old Hartford Whalers jerseys, and it looks awesome. Like it's definitely bringing back some of my childhood memories. I
actually had someone on Twitter tell me to stop bitching about the Chargers moving because they were a Hartford Whaler fan, and I took their team. They go, hold on a second. They moved here before I got here, so
fair enough.
I don't think that counts. So fuck it. I'll be back.
Yeah, I remember going to Hartford Whalers games as a kid. I grew up in. Out in like near Springfield, Mass, like the western part of the state, and Hartford was easily accessible for us. So my dad used to take my brother and I to Hartford Whalers games. It was the going joke was you went to go see a fight and the hockey game broke out. That was kind of like the whole Hartford Whalers way.
Yeah. Did I ever
the Gordie Howe hat trick?
I knew jack shit about hockey ever, and I remember Knoxville, Tennessee got I don't know if it's called AAA, but, the semi-pro, we got a team. They were called the Knoxville Speed back in the early 2000s. And to get people to come to the games, they would have first period free beer. So that's all.
Second period speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible idea.
But it got people in the door, though. And then you get like these little bitty, like 6-ounce cups. And so basically you would just go get your free 6-ounce, get at the very end of the line, and just keep going for the entire first period. Then second period, you would sit there and try to sober up and just, you're like, what the fuck's going on? I just see people going back and forth on the ice, and then you shout, fight, and that's all.
You're like, I don't even like hockey.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
It's came for the beer. Yeah. And then everyone was gone by third period. It's like, whatever. Nobody cares. But now, I forget they're another team now in Knoxville. But it's becoming more popular. Like, my nephew plays hockey. I'm like, cool. Like, I would have played if I would have had it when I was a kid. But just, you don't get a lot of snow or ice in the South. So
yeah, I never learned how to skate. I was a skier, ironically, but I couldn't skate. I just never caught on. But I would have loved it.
Yeah. Actually, the first time I ever ice skated was going to the Raleigh in 2009.
Go to the Raleigh?
Going to the Iceplex, the good old going to.
I didn't even realize we lost Jack.
Yeah, he just got him left. Yeah, he just said fuck it because I said my 1,000 words. I'm done.
I guess so. Yeah. I was more worried that I'd missed that he fell out of his chair, like I was busy drawing. I look up and I'm like, oh shit! Did somebody watch? Do we have eyes on Jack? So
I did get a little worried last week when he started coughing, and I'm like,
yeah, dude.
I was like, what?
Stay with us, buddy. Stay with us.
And for listeners at home, like we have no contingent plan. Like you'd think we would have thought of this by now and said, hey, we need Cindy's cell phone.
JP makes a great point. He left to go to get another can of cheese balls. Yeah.
Well, we got Jay and Colleen there. We got their contact information. We can always reach out if necessary.
But still, you want that kind of. Oh, is he back?
I'm back.
He's back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were worried for a second that you just dropped out again.
Just passed out. No.
Yeah. The cheese balls got to you.
No, I will always make sure I do that in front of the camera.
Oh, okay.
And I won't do it live. We'll do it live, damn it.
Oh, God. I'm glad that wasn't live. But did any a little bit of a downer? Like, did any of you guys watch the Leaving Neverland documentary that aired?
I haven't watched it yet. No. You're going to get a really weird range of emotions. That's for sure. Because, it's
better or worse than the Won't You Be My Neighbor documentary.
It's totally different kind of documentary.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because it's like watching a slow car wreck, or car collision, and then you keep if you're heading towards it, you're like, maybe it'll work out. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh, it's just that's what it was. It's just you can't believe what's happening.
I personally always thought that he was guilty.
Yeah.
Because it never made sense to me that once he paid the settlement, that he kept doing it.
Right.
But as bad as it is, a lot of the blame I put on I haven't seen the documentary yet, but From what I know, there is no fucking way in hell. I don't care who the person is.
Well, it's clever.
I'm going to let my child go spend the night at some adult's house.
Well, you should.
I said, yeah, he can come, but I'm coming with him.
There's an interview with Oprah, after the second part, and I would also recommend watching that too because they do more of a clinical type thing and break down how Michael used. I forget the word they used, but how you convinced them. Because all his victims were diehard fans. Before, and so he used that to his advantage, and and because people always say, "Oh, he's like a 9-year-old." That's how he acts. He's like a kid, he's like an eternal kid. And
that's what they always said.
He would win over the parents first, though. Because they showed it, they go from the very beginning. Each of them, he would just call us up. Can I come to your house? And he would have dinner with us. And so, but because he acts like a 9-year-old, the parents tend to think of him like a kid, even though he's a grown ass man. And so they're baking for him, they're making stuff for him, but they're all get that deceptive part of hey, this guy can help my kid because some of these kids were child actors or dancers and things like that. So they're thinking groomed. That's it. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew said groomed. Yeah, that's what they're conditioning. Yeah, another word for it. And it's just you can see how they bought into it. But yeah, there is a point where I think any parent would say when the kids are going, oh, I want to sleep in the bed with Michael. There's got to be a part of your brain where it's no,
right.
But the parents either saw dollar signs or, like you said, they just didn't. They didn't think of him. Who thinks a superstar would be that way? But it doesn't matter. As we know now, it's this stuff isn't covered up like it was back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. This stuff is, because there's been people have done terrible things. They got away with it because nobody called them out on it.
But see, here's the thing, though. So I didn't watch the documentary, but Nick, if you could fill me in. Was there a lot of activity that went on after the lawsuit, after he got exonerated or whatever?
Because the first lawsuit was in '93, and then there's another one right there towards the end of his life.
Yeah,
but here's the thing, though. I'm going to speak very, very frankly here for a second, and for lack of better terms, I'll be pretty harsh about it too. Is that any fucking parent that, as Jack, as you were mentioning before, allows their kid to go and not only sleep over, but sleep in the same bed as an adult. And knowing that there was a lawsuit or 7 involved in the whole thing, the truth of the matter is that you took a calculated risk. No matter how you look at it, you took a calculated risk and sold out your kid to try and make money.
Yep.
Like the idea is that, hopefully let's hope for the best. Let's hope that nothing bad is happening and we're going to get compensated, or we're going to have the ability to move forward in our acting career because of our connections with Michael, blah, blah, blah. Like at the end of the day, you sold out your kid.
Yeah. Because
you thought about it. There's no way you didn't think about it. You had to think about the fact that there is a chance, a significant chance, that this person is going to be violating your child. And you thought about that, and you made a calculation in your head and say, is it worth it?
Well, especially the second lawsuit, when it was well known that he'd been sued for that in the first place. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, what the fuck were you thinking? I have no sympathy for the parent. I feel bad for the kids. I mean,
they sold out. Like they here's the term I'm going to use, and I apologize if I offend anybody, but they hoard out their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like one of them, the mother's, I forget which one it is, but that's kind of what she says. Like because she was duped, like all of them were, like they were brainwashed and they felt, but you don't feel sorry for the parents because it's like,
I don't think the adults were brainwashed. I think the adults saw dollar signs and that's all they saw.
But like I said, like you need to watch it because like you see, like this isn't just like I'm spending the night one night and it happens then. Like this happened like many, many trips where it was completely innocent and then it just slowly escalates, And it's
he's the typical pedophile.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's a pedophile, and he knew exactly what he was doing.
So now comes I saw one radio station refuse to play Michael Jackson music. Should there be a ban everywhere of people playing his songs?
I don't believe in
because I'm not going to listen to him, man.
It was weird, like because that's another reason why you now after watching this, you're going to think like fuck, like. You're never going to see Michael Jackson again the same way. It's just,
but I'm not shocked by it because because to me, I think I said earlier, when he got sued and he was still bringing kids into his bed, I go, that's someone who's doing something to those kids because say I brought a kid in and it's harmless and nothing happened. There's no fucking way I'm gonna do it again. I mean, I wouldn't do it in the first place, but there's no way I would do it again unless I was doing something to those kids. And I said that back when it happened. I don't believe it. I think he's doing something to those kids. I go, he should be in jail. I said it back then. I go, the only reason he's out of jail because he's Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
It's trash.
Messed up.
And the crazy part about it too is that like before any of this, remove this from the whole equation. I don't know anybody who didn't like Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like I grew up as a kid. I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. So much so, I mean, again, I tend to retell stories, but like as a kid, remember when we were kids and like if you got like those stickers that were like the sparkly reflective stickers. Teachers always had like the sheets of it.
We didn't have stickers when I was a kid.
And they cut up that paper that was like super sparkly, and you make stars out of it. They make whatever.
Oh yeah.
We had Scotch tape, and they put, like you said, a piece of paper on us. That was our sticker.
Well, I had a Michael Jackson sticker that was a sticker of his glove, and it was made out of that sparkly stuff. So it was like a super shiny, sparkly sticker. It was a fucking sticker, right? I remember I took it with me on our family vacation down to the beach, and I left it in the cottage that I was staying at. And I was heartbroken. Dude, here I am. I'm like, what, 4, 5, 6 years? I don't even know how old I was. Probably,
I thought you were going to say like 14 or 15. But
yeah, I was probably like six years old. And this sticker was one of the most fucking important things to me because it was my Michael Jackson sticker, and it was super sparkly and fucking cool. I remember I had my parents call the realty company.
Your parents are nicer than I am.
Dude, they fucking went and looked through the trash
Oh my gosh!
Mailed it back to me. I'll never forget it. And they mailed it back to me. I'll never forget.
Did you guys give him a good score on Yelp?
Sure. We didn't even have dial-up modem then. But they, I remember because they mailed it back on a piece of paper, and it was all faded, right? So it definitely went into the trash, and they pulled it out, they yanked it out, they slapped it on a piece of paper, and they mailed it to me.
Wow. You know what? I would have just done it on purpose. This fucking kid. Let's make it look like it was really in the trash.
I'm just surprised they did it, because it's just
I am too. It was like a dream come true as a kid, it was that sticker.
Well, how long did you have this sticker?
I don't remember.
So you don't have the sticker still to this day?
You don't have a scrapbook?
No, I don't.
Put it framed.
Yeah.
My parents actually, I might actually have it because I had a sticker book at home.
Got to contact your parents.
So
if they have the sticker book in the trash.
You guys remember the old school photo albums? And the plastic. You pull up the plastic, and it was almost like an adhesive, strips across it, and you place your picture down, and you put the plastic back on top of it.
Yeah.
I had one of those full of my favorite stickers.
I have one of those, but one's has TV Guide stuff. I would cut things from the TV Guide and put it in there. I have no, and I look back at it now. I go, what the fuck was I thinking? It's like Sonny and Cher, and the beat goes on.
I gotta see that my parents might still have that album somewhere. I remember had scratch and sniff stickers.
Yeah, sure you did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I used to pull up the paper and scratch and put it back down.
Was the glitter glove sticker a scratch and sniff sticker?
No, it was not.
Okay,
it was not.
Wow. Hey, did you just question those scratch and sniff people here? Did you also kind of like the skunk smell? Because I kind of like the skunk smell. It was kind of. I mean, is that just a pothead thing or what?
No, man. And I remember
growing up in San Diego, you smell skunks all the time. You don't want to smell skunk.
Well, I remember having the He-Man action figures and had Moss Man who smelled like moss, or at least what the Mattel wanted us to think moss smelled like.
They had skunkor, right? It's skunkor.
Sure.
Don't you remember skunkor?
I don't.
I've never heard of skunkor.
Skunkor is an actual He-Man, and he smelled like skunkor smelled.
Oh yeah, I had that one. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, totally. Okay,
yeah.
I had one of those. I had one of those, and I left it at this cottage we were staying at, and I left it there. My parents.
Wow.
Fuck you, Jack.
Can you get my skunkor, please? It's in the trash. Please find it. I want my skunkor.
They mail it back, and there's just a quarter of weed. And you're like, wait,
nowadays you just get a note back. Fuck you.
All of Jack's toys were lead. So.
Yeah,
actually, they're lead and Lincoln Logs. Nothing else.
I love Lincoln Logs. And Zach has Lincoln Logs, and he brought them to my house because he couldn't. I guess his dad wouldn't play with his Lincoln Logs, so. I build Lincoln Logs with him here.
Well, hold on. Clarify that for me. You saying that his dad wouldn't let Zach play with his Lincoln Logs, or his dad wouldn't let Zach play with his dad's Lincoln Logs?
I don't know the whole story, but Zach couldn't figure out how to do it. I said, I used to love playing Lincoln Logs. And he goes, bring him to Papa. Papa will help me build it. So I had the Lincoln Logs. We have them here, and every time he comes over, I build Lincoln Logs with him.
Because I could
Lincoln Logs are awesome, man.
I could see Jay not doing it because his are vintage Lincoln Logs, and he doesn't want to take them out of the package. So.
I don't know if he ever had Lincoln Logs.
His own. No, Jay definitely has his own Lincoln Logs right now. That he will not. That's how I interpret it. Jay has his own canister. Remember those old school cylinder canisters that he has still shrink wrapped, and he will not let his son play with them. That's how I read what you just said.
Okay, but that's I don't know if Jay had, but that's what has happened now. I have the Lincoln Logs in my possession.
That's how you know, the Lego Movie. That's how you know you're an adult when you sympathize with Will Ferrell's character. Because think about how much money he spent on collecting all those Legos, putting it together, and you don't want your kid going down there and destroying your entire city because you're like, you know how many hours it took me to put this shit together, and but as from a kid you're like, how can I play with the toys? They're toys, and so I totally get both sides of that argument.
Dude, that scene, I totally felt that scene because, again, I feel like I'm recycling stories again, but
I remember this story.
I had tons of Legos, as referenced in that sign that used to be behind me in my other house, where I got paid in Legos to be a model spokesperson, whatever you want to call it, for Legos. And I had like a city of Legos, and it was right when the medieval Legos first started coming out. So you had the castles and stuff, and I had like this huge setup, not as big as in the Lego movie, but like similar, right? And I remember my dad didn't get it, and he came down one day after telling me over time and time again he didn't want the Legos out and about. You wanted them put away, and I didn't put them away, so I was leave them out for display so I could use them. And he fucking dismantled them all. 7 different sets.
To be fair,
put them into one box. Everything was all mixed up. No sets were together. The colors were mixed. The types of Legos were mixed. It was the fucking worst day of my life. And I love my father. Yeah. I love my dad.
Well, you should. He went back
to this day.
It's not that day.
32 years ago, I have not forgiven him to this day.
Oh, yeah. That's understandable.
That's harsh.
I'm with you on this one.
Hey, I'm reading the chat. Drake says I got yelled at by Jack when I was a teenager at the Iceplex. I don't remember that, but I mean I did yell at kids, but
that's a badge of pride, though.
Yeah,
I would think like you should get a sticker for that.
We got stickers.
Hey Nick, before we move on from toys and stuff, I just wanted to know, like in the South, do they call them Davis logs?
We do, yeah. That's what they are.
Jefferson Davis logs, yeah.
Yes, exactly, Jefferson Davis logs.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to help people out, that people that didn't get the Davis part.
Yeah,
I'm sure Nick got it, but,
and Dennis got it, but that was it.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see? There's a trailer. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Nick.
I was going to say we call them Sherman logs.
Chris is dead.
Sherman logs because they're all burned, But, go ahead.
So going back to childhood a little bit, there's a movie that I used to watch all the time at my friend's house because he had it on tape, but my parents would never let me watch it. And I was excited to see that there's a trailer out for a sequel, like 25, 30 years later. There is a sequel to the movie Critters coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Dude, I know. And it looks so fucking gory. They turned it up to 11 on the shock value of that trailer. I loved that movie growing up. I thought it was fun.
Too. I took my mom to see Critters 2 when it came out.
Like I've never not once have I been to a bowling alley and not in my mind thought like I could take that bowling ball and just whip it down the alley like the bounty hunters do in that movie. I love that flick. That was so good. But anyways,
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's these little they're critters. Yeah, they're just like hairy ball.
It's a gremlin knockoff.
Hairy balls. It's like episode title.
Is it like in Star Trek?
What's the title, Chris?
Hairy balls.
Hairy balls.
they're like little hairy balls.
They're like little hairy balls. Yeah.
No, it should be hairy cheese balls.
Didn't they have like spikes, like porcupines that they could throw out? Like little...
Yeah, they could turn over and spit the teeth out.
Yeah, they spit
Who's in this movie?
I don't know, but DiCaprio is in the third one, I think.
Who?
Like a young Leonardo DiCaprio is like in the third one. If I'm not mistaken.
There's older sequels.
There's 3 of them.
I think I only saw the first 2. Yeah,
I only saw the first one.
Oh,
yeah. I took my mom to see the second one. I was like, we have to go see this.
I'm thinking Tremors.
It's kind of like Tremors, Chris. It's like, there's lots of sequels to it, but only ever remembers the first one. Like
unlike Star Trek.
We're just gonna keep making them.
Yeah.
So the movie came out back when like Popples were popular too. You guys remember Popples?
What the fuck is a Popple?
Popples were like I don't know if it was a cartoon came first or
just a Boston thing.
Yeah, no. So Popples. All right, hold on. So Popples.
You didn't even know there was a Critters 2, but there's a Popple.
Yeah. So I don't know if the cartoon came first or actually I don't think there was a cartoon. There's a cartoon now though.
I think the chicken came first.
They're actually like making a comeback. So the Popple was like a stuffed animal that was like I don't know, like some type of like creature or like a bear or something like that. But they then folded into themselves into like a stuffed animal ball.
Okay,
they would pop out of their pouches. My daughter has one because someone gave one to her like a hand me down from years and years ago. But they've actually there's a new cartoon out that I caught my daughter watching the other day on Netflix. But anyways, they're like these cute, lovable, colorful little like stuffed animals. And right around the same time as those came out, I think maybe I'm just making that up. But like I felt like they had these evil alien versions of them that just destroyed people.
Yeah, Popples and Critters, totally two different worlds there.
Clearly, but like I believe it was right around the same time that they were being marketed.
Okay, yeah, it says 86 to 88, maybe.
Remember the Mopples?
So now you're just making shit up.
No, hey, it was a cartoon back in the day, and this coyote was chasing after it all the time.
And the Mooples?
The Mooples, yeah. He was. The Mooples were faster than the coyote.
Mopples.
Mooples.
The answer
catches
is who are the moops? Yeah, gotcha.
Moops. No.
Moops.
Sorry, Bubble Boy. You lose.
Yeah.
That I've heard of.
Oh man, Critters! I think I need to watch the original again.
Sure, I totally review that again because I haven't seen that for.
Maybe
we should do a Ramblecast riff tracks.
Yeah,
Owen Baruza episode.
It's related. It's in the same sci-fi universe.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
originally, the Ewoks were supposed to be critters. That would have been a great Star Wars movie.
Billy Zane was in the original.
Wow.
Billy's. Did he have hair then?
Terrence Mann was in the original. Oh, yeah, he was one of the bounty hunters.
Huh.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I need to go back and watch this again.
It's funny. Like, I'm sure you guys have heard it or seen it. There's those Fallen I Can't Get Up type commercials where the life alert things. There's one now where.
The one I no longer make fun of.
Yeah, well, there's one now where like you just hear the woman at the bottom of the stairs going, "Help me!" Help! And every time I hear it, I think of The Fly because I remember that as a kid, and that's what I think of. I think of "Help me, help!" And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's The Fly."
I always thought it'd be funny if the lady was laying there and saying, "Help! I can't get here. I'm your life alert person. Oh, we see you're behind on your payments. Do you have a credit card? or we can send anybody out. We need to get a credit card, please." I can't get up. Is there anything? Can you remember the numbers? Or you should have kept it on file with us.
Man, what's your social security number?
What?
That happened on this week's Shameless, Jack. I know you haven't watched it in a while, but Jack,
I'm 2 seasons behind on it.
Yeah. Frank gets a compound fracture in his femur, and he shows up at the emergency room. And of course, they all know him. He's like, "Can I have some morphine? I've got a bone stick in my leg." And they're like, "Hey, Frank," and they're not helping. They keep walking by him, and then finally they're like, "You owe us $58,000 from all this stuff." And he's like, "You don't have it." And so they try to. He's like, "Are you past 65? Because you might qualify for Medicare." And he's like, "Yes, I am 65. Just turned it. And like, and of course, they do a procedure, no drugs, no nothing. Like they give him an intern to do the surgery because they hate him so much.
Well, he's the worst dad ever.
Yeah,
he's the worst dad. I mean, if you've never seen it, he's the worst dad. Bottom line, worst dad ever. It's fantastic acting, but he's a terrible dad.
Oh, he's great. Actually, he did do a sweet thing in this past episode because Fiona's hit like rock bottom.
Yeah,
and
she's been hitting rock bottom for like 5 years.
That's true. But she goes to sleep in this building that's abandoned, and he follows her just to make sure she's safe. And then, he goes to sleep next to her. So at least he was trying to be fatherly.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Of course, the next morning, the bulldozers come crashing through the wall, and she's not there, so she just left him. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Well, she has no respect for her dad. I mean,
no.
He left, and the mom, and she had to raise those kids. So.
Yeah. I can't figure. Oh, okay. Chris is still there. Like Chris, your image was frozen. Like you were just like, ah.
I've been looking at screenshots of Critters.
Chris is either frozen or he's staring. He's on the internet.
Yeah, I was definitely doing the Googling.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Well, that's why he interrupts people. No.
Are you because he's not paying attention?
Well, it's because he's not paying attention, and all of a sudden he sees this story. He's like, "Oh, I gotta talk about it!"
Look at that shit I just found, guys. What are you talking
Chris,
about?
They mean Critters action figures, guys.
Chris, because you're like a statue, Chris, when you're doing this. I mean, you don't even blink. Are there times that your wife is talking to you, speaking to you, and you're just completely tuned her out, and then she gets mad at you for tuning her out because you're reading something?
Only in bed. They're in there and you guys phone out. Hold on, baby, I'm Googling something.
Because I'll say it to my wife sometimes. I go, "Did I answer you?" Because she'll know the same thing. She just zones. It's like this, and I'm having a whole conversation with her. I go, never mind. She goes, "What were you saying? Wasn't important. House is burning down. I'm getting out."
The best though is when your significant other calls and they don't actually have anything to say, and they're like, she makes like a statement, and I'm like, yeah, okay. She said, well. So like it actually happened tonight. I was driving around trying to take care of some stuff, and she wasn't going to be able to make it to pick up my daughter to go to gymnastics. So I ended up going to pick up gymnastics. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll go pick her up and again bring her to gymnastics. She's like, well, where are you? I'm like, I'm driving. She's like, okay, well, what are you going to do? I'm just like, I'm going to go pick up the kid and bring her to gymnastics. And there was just dead silence. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was pretty clear. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to have dialogue about this? Should we keep talking?
I've had those conversations before.
Like, pretty much solve the issue. There's no more problem. So, or we could keep talking about the problem that no longer exists.
I haven't seen you all day. That's all you can say to me.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I don't know what. Yeah, okay. What do you want to talk about? Screw you.
I hate talking on the phone. Like I can't stand talking on the phone.
Every man does.
Like I would prefer to do a FaceTime or to do a podcast and talk over the internet. I don't want to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. I can't stand doing it. Well, and she knows that.
I can tell you one guy who loved to talk on the phone was the Canadian, Russ. Literally, if you got him on the phone, I mean, he'd call the rink, and you're busy with customers, and you go, "How's it? What do you want?" What do you? I finally I go, "Why do you do that?" I go, "I'm telling you with customers." I was always taught it was rude not to have a conversation when you call somebody. I go, but you could never get him out. He would it's like he's writing things down to keep the conversation going longer.
But oddly enough, not as energetic when it came to podcasting. So
no.
There's the irony there. So
where are we at? What team? What game?
Hold on, I'm at a drive-through.
Yeah, I need to order my food. We're not kidding. That was the Sports Talk with Three Stupid Guys.
I think he went to a grocery store while we were recording one time.
He did go. Didn't he go to the movies once?
I don't know about the movies, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Because remember, didn't he ask was it DeQuan or someone in the line when he was at the fast food place who he thought who would win the game?
DeQuan worked there. DeQuan worked at what is it?
Cookout.
Cookout, yeah. So, speaking of Cookout, because they could be a sponsor to the show, but we need to officially have a sponsor break.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just in case for those that.
Do we do that for the live show? Okay.
We're doing it live.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
All right, let's let Chris take the next segment where he's just looking into the computer, and then we'll have our break.
Brought to you by Critters 4.
All right, we're supposed to be quiet. We're supposed to be quiet, right?
Just make a note saying what time we take the break, and then.
All right, are you ready?
We're back. And we're back. So I just speaking of dramatic phone calls or silence, I'll tell you what happened to me and stuff I've been dealing with my whole life. So I'm just like Chris. I don't like to talk on the phone, but if it's something if I call my dad, it's literally a 2-minute conversation. Like, hey, did you see that? Yeah, cool. All right. Talk to you later. So Tennessee basketball has always sucked pretty much, but we're doing very good this year. We played.
You were number one for a while, right?
We were, yeah, and we lost to Kentucky, but we played them again this past weekend and won. So like we're going to be in the top, hopefully the Final Four for the first time in Tennessee history this year. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So anyway, thanks, Jack.
Overrated.
So I call my dad up really quick, like, yeah, good game, blah, 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 and that's pretty much the thing. And then also he goes, hey, your mom wants to talk to you. Okay. Hands me the phone. I'm like, what are you crying for? It's nothing to do with you. I'm just crying. I'm just sad. That's all. It's just my days. Okay. So what's up?
You remembered how Sherman burned down her Legos.
I guess so, or Lincoln Log, or her
Lincoln
Davis Log. Yeah. And so it's kind of hard to have a conversation with someone who's crying, and you're like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you. It's just a day. It's just one of those days."
Well, do you try to comfort her? Is there something you'd say?
Well, when she's denying that she's crying anyway, it's kind of like, what do you say? So you just kind of push through it and be like, "Okay, well, how was your week? What are you doing?" Like, blah, blah, and then. I forget. We talked for a few minutes and then hung up. A couple of days later, I finally get it out of Dad. Like, why was she crying? Because you called me instead of calling her first. I'm like, fuck.
Can't win.
Yeah, it's just like, because I was so selfish to call one of my parents but not call the other one instead of the other one. I was like,
well, how long has it been since you've called your mom?
Maybe 6 days.
Okay. Wow, that's
pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm really bad right now. I haven't talked to my mom in like 3 weeks. She texts me all the time.
Yeah, my mom texts me, but like every now and then, yeah, we'll call and talk. But like it's I talk to my mom. I'd say probably every 10 days.
Because my mom watches the Weather Channel. Oh my God, are you guys all right? And I go,
oh jeez.
I go,
what a racket, the Weather Channel. Don't get me started on that fake news.
I go, and I tell her, I go, you know what, Mom, it could be raining in the vacant lot right next to us and not raining at our house. Really, it's the strangest thing. It's just how it is out here.
They sell fear.
Do what?
The Weather Channel sells fear.
If they legalized gambling on weather, they would have that shit down to like 1/10 of a degree by the acre. It would just be crazy.
They're actually pretty good here. The local weather here is actually pretty good. It's pretty spot on, I gotta say.
My conversations with my dad can consist of 3 things, which is, what are you doing? Where are you at? I need you to help me move something. That's about it. So,
well, my dad, when my dad was still alive, at first I would talk to him like 20 minutes. He'd say, "Your time is up," and that's actually what my sister came up with the idea of putting on his. He was cremated and put in this wall type thing, and his plate. That's what we put on. Your time is up. It's what we put on the thing because that's what he'd say. Your time is up, and that's awesome. And then he'd be done, and that's it. Okay, your time is up.
That's awesome.
But towards the end, because he had dementia and all this stuff, wasn't catching it. I'd be on the phone with him for like 3 hours.
Oh,
Cindy would come by and go, "Are you still talking to your mom?" I go, "It's my dad." And it was just like he wouldn't get off the phone. I think it's because he was seeing things and he was trying to, distract him. But it was like toward the end, it was like, oh my God, I've been on the phone with him for like 3 hours. But he was telling me everything about his childhood and telling me everything about that he never talked about in the first, 50 something years of my life. He never knew anything about him. That's just how he was. But the time is up is a classic. My sister goes, "You really want to put that on there?" I go, "You came up with it. It's great. Let's put it on there." That's him.
Yeah. My grandfather, he suffered from dementia in his last days as well. And I remember because my grandmother passed away first, and then my grandfather just immediately went downhill after my grandma passed. And he was suffering from dementia and didn't know who I was. Unfortunately, that's a sad thing to go through. I think anybody who's listening to anybody who has gone through that, it's hard. It was even harder. My mom, because he started to not know who she was, which is got to be devastating as a child or of someone who's passing. But what was amazing, you mentioned you talking about his childhood. Like my grandfather was a man of few words, and when he spoke, people listened, the type of thing. Like he wasn't really like a conversationalist. He was always there. You know, he was always there for all the holidays, and he was grandpa. Like that was grandpa. But when he was going through dementia, holy shit, like he wouldn't stop talking.
Yeah.
And it was fucking fascinating. Like he was actually recalling when he was stationed in India during the war and all this type of stuff, and he was naming all his buddies, and he was describing all these things that were going on. And I remember he actually had to have his it was right around the time where he actually had to have his teeth pulled, because you get to that age and can't take care of yourself, and your teeth are essentially falling out, right? And they opted to have him have his teeth extracted. And I remember he was so pissed. Like he was so fucking mad that he had to go and get his teeth taken out. And it wasn't because he was prideful of his teeth or anything. But he was mad because the day that he went to get his teeth pulled out, he wouldn't be able to be at home at 3:00 to have his Heineken. Like that was like his thing. Like there's things that you I guess as I've kind of witnessed things that you forget and the things that just stick with you. And he had like a ritual. Like at 3:00 in the afternoon,
right,
he'd have a Heineken. That was just every single day. Like he would make all of his appointments around his 3:00 Heineken. That was like that was just it. So the day that he had to have his teeth pulled was like one of the first days ever that he didn't have his goddamn Heineken, and he was bullshit.
The reason about the stories that cracked me up is my dad would forget me. I'd fly out there because we were all taking care of him. I'd fly out there like every 3 weeks, and he'd forget who I was, and he'd go like this. He goes, hey, remember when me, you, and Don, that was his brother, and we'd go down to Atlantic City. You guys were always so good at picking up the girls. And I go, who the hell do you think I am? He goes, whoever he'd say. I go, well, that's not me. I'm your son. He goes, you're my friend. I go, I'm your friend, but I'm also your son. But he would just and that's how I learned I learned a lot of stories and stuff. But I used to think my dad was like, yeah, it was, but my dad was like Ward Cleaver. I mean, that's how you saw him, very straight, follow the rules. He wasn't that way the first 25 years of his life. Let's just say that. He was kind of a hellraiser. He used to drink a lot and actually went to jail for 30 days. And he chose to go to jail because he was very shy, very, very, he didn't like to speak in public and all this different stuff. And he was in college, and the one class, straight A's and everything else, but he was failing speech because he didn't want to get up in front of the class and talk. In order to graduate, he had to take that class. So he goes to he got arrested for disorderly conduct and stuff like that. You told the cops, he said, you keep coming to these stoplights. You don't have me handcuffed. I could run out of and just run away. But he goes to the dean, and he goes, my grandmother's waiting outside at the door. And the dean says, look, you can take the speech class or go spend the 30 days in jail. He goes, I'll take the 30 days in jail. Wow. And so he comes back out and tells his mom, he goes, yep, they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me do it. I have to go to jail. So then, after he got out of jail, that's when he came out with my uncle to San Diego, and that's how he met my mom, and all that different stuff. So it's just weird how that whole cycle of thing worked. But he'd rather go to jail than to go back to speech class.
That is a huge fear with a lot of people. It's just public speaking. I was to say I had anxiety until I was about 26. And so the same thing, like I took courses just so I could avoid any kind of speech class. And then by the time I actually did have to take a speech class, because I got like another degree for free from the university, that it was required at that point that every student had to take a speech class. And I took one, but at that point I was 28. And so I walked into class and everyone was like 19 and 20. I'm like, I'm not afraid of you fuckers. I was like, I've been around for too long. I don't give a shit.
I hated going to speaking. Our first panel we did, I was terrified. Just terrified. I was just stressed. And I was a mess going to the bathroom the whole time saying, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Now
after I did a couple, it doesn't bother. It doesn't faze me.
Exactly. Now you do panels at Comic-Con.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was. It was a first panel at Comic-Con. Jay goes, I'm not doing that panel. I'm not going up in front of those people. Yeah. I go, well, maybe no one will be there.
Yeah. Oh, it was packed.
Yeah.
I remember that day.
I remember really, but after that, you get over the fear. You know.
Yeah, you just don't.
You know, it's funny. I had the fear as well. You know, in like junior high school, and then
I don't see you having the fear.
But here's the thing: I did have the fear, and I'll never forget running for some class office that I was doing. I was like a representative for the state for this student council group, so I got in front of like 1,000 people and gave a speech. I'll never forget that was the moment where I got up there and I slayed it, you know, and I realized I actually have an addiction. I actually like evoking emotions out of groups of people. So I absolutely enjoy standing in front of a group of people and delivering a message, you know, and oftentimes it's humor, right? Like I think that's, I get off on I'm making people laugh, you know, and getting a reaction out of people.
Well, could you start doing that on the podcast?
Yeah, thanks.
There's a large group of people that have been waiting.
So I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy. Like there's a lot, but I'm not a great writer unless I really put my heart and soul into it. Like I can't just casually write, but I love performing like on a stage and in kind of getting reactions out of people. I find it so much fun.
I could never do it. My mom used to say, because I used to do characters and just make fun of her. Well, actually, mostly making fun of her, but just different characters. You should go. I go, there's no way I could do it. I'd be up there. That'd be my act.
Like I've delivered 2 best man speeches in my life, and they were awesome. That's like the perfect stage for someone like me who I don't like to sit down and plan out and write things, but like when I'm going to do something that's meaningful, like I sat down and I poured my my heart and soul into like a comedy bit, you know, and I did my brothers and I did my buddy Jeff's, and they were amazing. Like I actually got solicited at a wedding for someone to write a best man speech for somebody, and that was like the highest form of praise I could ever ask for. So
I had for all 3 of our kids, Jay's, we had the rehearsal dinner, so we hosted that, so I had to speak for that one. I cheered up. I got choked up on that one. My oldest daughter, we hosted the wedding, so I have to give the father speech, and I cheered up on that one. So my youngest daughter's going, I don't care what you say, but I better see some tears. I said, well, I gotta make up something that's gonna make me cry. So anyway, but she was putting pressure on me for like 6 months. Better see some tears. I better see some tears.
It would be funny if the speech was actually about Jay.
Yeah.
I think I would be the worst, because I go, like a lot of people, I go to humor for the worst things. So like if someone's like, can you give a speech at a funeral? You know, I'd be that person who's like, so we're all here to celebrate.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, why does everybody always say, I know he's looking down on us right now? Like, why couldn't he be looking up? You all knew him. You know, like he had to be that guy. And like, can you believe he said that? It's his fucking funeral. I'm like, he would have liked it. What the hell? Like, you know?
I prefer laughing at a funeral.
Yeah.
So that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I was watching, I don't know why, but I was watching the eulogy that George Bush gave his father. Yeah. And it was awesome. Yeah. I was watching it I forgot why I was watching
until it chokes up at the end. That's kind of hard.
Yeah. But it was just so well, I felt good like listening to it. That sounds weird to listen to a eulogy, but it was really nice.
Well, he was making fun of, who was that senator? He was making fun of the older guy.
You mean you could understand him, Chris? You didn't enunciate.
He didn't say nuclear. No.
Nuclear. Yeah. Nuclear bomb. Yeah. We're gonna go nuclear on this son bitch. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Jack.
Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I can't remember the senator's name. I see his face. Actually, I didn't know he was still alive. Actually, when I saw the senator there, but he was making fun of him. Anyway, continue. I can't remember his name.
Oh, sorry, Jack.
Well,
it's not you. I just couldn't remember his name.
I sometimes will tell my students that half the reason why I'm there teaching them is because I'm not afraid to get up in front of people and make a fool out of myself. So I'm not afraid.
We know that.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't.
Well,
it's weird though, because the one place that I get a little bit more nervous, or like how Jack felt, I guess, going into a crowded room for the Lost panel for the first time. I had a painting in an art show in New York, and it was probably like the first art show that I had outside of Indiana. First real big art show, and I was just nervous as fuck. Like I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't mingle with any. My mom was there. My girlfriend was there. I couldn't even talk to them. I just was a wreck. I just was like, no, this is just too much. I can't. I met one person while I was there. Talked to him for a little bit. A couple weeks later, he bought my painting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those like, oh, well, the pays to talk a little bit, but I was just nervous I think it was just because it was something different. It was something that I cared about in a way that is different than even when I teach, I try to bring humor into it because it keeps students awake. I'll say stuff like, if you're not here, I assume that you're out doing drugs.
It's probably true.
I like to be a little bit stodgy with my.
We know artists.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll just say stuff too to see if they're listening or they're paying attention. So.
Yeah, but that same speech class that I had to take, I remember because I did at the time. I remember giving good speeches and getting A's for them, and some of those students were like, "How do you do it? Like, how do you get up there and speak the way you do? That's really good." And I said, "Well," I was like, "Don't worry, I was nervous too when I was your age." I was like, "But the realization as you get older, and you attend those things, that's what I remember saying this to at least two of them, going like, one." When you're giving a speech, no one in the audience is rooting for you to fail. They're all hoping you do good. That you.
Obviously, you've never had me in the audience.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can see you. That guy sucks. Hope he stutters. Fuck that guy. Chris likes my speeches so much he can't even keep his excitement contained. He likes to break in. But the second, and that's the other thing is that when you're the speech giver, you are the expert. Unless you're talking politics or something where everyone can go like, fuck that guy. But for the most part, when you're giving a speech, you're the one that knows the most so you can make up shit sometimes and like, so that's what I mean. Like you just gotta, it's all about confidence.
Yeah.
And I've never been really a confident guy, but the older I get, the more I am. But
I know because everyone was worried about when we went to the Orpheum, the finale. How you going? I go, I'm fine. It's not going to faze me. Yeah. When we had to get up in front of all those people, I said, I'm fine now.
Right.
Just because I'd done it a couple times, and it's like, okay, it's lost, and it doesn't matter if you're wrong because everybody's wrong with loss. I mean, at one point, we were all wrong at one point when it came to loss. So it wasn't one of those things where you had to be. Yeah, there's some people who thought that they were right the whole time, but
Well, I mean, there were so many people who, and that's what always pisses me off about Lost is like how many people predicted that, oh, they're dead the whole time, and then after the finale, like, see, I told you they were dead the whole time. I'm like, did you?
You didn't watch the fucking finale.
Exactly. Did you watch the show?
I don't, because I know this came up at our last panel because someone said, "How do you?" I go, I don't correct them. I just go, okay. I just pissed me off because we were at Jay's. They're having a party for, I forget which kid it was for, but they had a bunch of kids over there, and his dad's talking to me. Oh wow, yeah, you see that podcast, right? He goes, yeah, I like Lost except when they found out they were dead the whole time. I go, yeah, kind of a bummer. And I'm not going to sit there and spend all day long trying to correct it. That's what they want to believe. And people are at the panel in San Diego, they're like going, you don't correct them? I go, no, it's not my job to correct them. They can watch it. I know they weren't dead the whole time. I did a podcast saying they weren't dead the whole time. So I'm not going to, if that's what they want to believe 10 years later or whatever it's been, so be it. That's what they believe. Not my job to correct you.
I feel like that's the conversation that always pops up though. When somebody finds out that you were a fan of Lost, and they're like, oh, well, how did you feel about the fact that they were all dead? And it's like,
they weren't.
They were not. And then I have to explain to them.
I don't.
And they're like, oh, really?
I don't waste because I only have so many words until I die, right?
But you're getting.
I'm not going to waste my words on them.
It's happening more and more now with the people that are like 10 years younger than us. I'm not sure if you guys have had a conversation with, but like they've never watched Lost, and they'll say that to me, like, "Oh, like you should watch Lost." I'm like, "Well, I thought about it, but everyone tells me that the ending sucks because they've been dead the whole time." I'm like, "Just watch the fucking show because that's not right."
No,
and like that's what I hate is like people get because now that it's done, people can just look it up or people will tell them with the incorrect thing, and you're like, "Just watch it."
Well, it's like Battlestar Galactica, BSG. Some people go, "Yeah, I heard they were making it up as they go along." I go, "Okay, but still a good show."
Look at show.
I go, what do you care if they made it up as they're going? It doesn't matter. It's still they should have it planned. I go, probably 1% of the shows in the history of television, if that, have had it planned from start to finish.
Yeah.
Most shows are just they're winging it.
Yeah.
Whatever works, they go with, and when they mix it up, and that's it.
And it has to be organic. I mean, that's the thing. Is that if it was, and I maybe we can use the analogy of a roller coaster. So a roller coaster. If everything, it's meant to sway, it's meant to give, and if it doesn't, you're going to fly right off that track. So, and it's going to break apart. So roller coasters are meant to have a little bit of give and a little bit of lean. And
I never got the criticism of BSG that they were making up and that's what people will point to. I go, right. I don't care. I loved it. Doesn't matter. It worked.
Because I think it was in season 3. There is that. Or it could be 4. I think it's pretty sure it's season 3. Like the whole where they weren't sure what to do with Starbuck, and she's like leading them in the wrong direction and all that. Like it did feel like a little of like they didn't know where they were going with it in those couple episodes. But I still think it's one of the best series from start to finish that there ever is.
Easily.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Anything else you guys want to add?
Do we have any questions from the viewers in the chat?
Yeah, anybody have a quick question?
Quick AMA for the chat, folks.
Yeah, I'm not on the chat because I'm afraid that I'm going to split my internet in some weird way, and I'll lose connection. So I haven't been live on the feed tonight. So sorry for those that have joined us there. Not to ignore you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Caramel.
Although I know the chat is a little bit behind on the video, so I will.
They are a bunch of asses.
I'll make a comment to Drake's. Said he Lost did not have it planned the whole time. I'll never buy that.
No.
I agree.
They did.
I do believe they had the beginning and they had the end.
That's what they've said many times. That they knew they knew how to start it. They knew how to end it. They didn't know the middle.
Because, well, to be fair to them, in the middle, they didn't know when they were going to have an ending.
Right.
It was a network show. It wasn't like where Breaking Bad said, "No, this is what we're going to do." Boom. Didn't Breaking Bad say this is our plan. We're only going to go so many seasons. I mean, a lot of shows did that. But you could see Lost had a lot of filler episodes in seasons 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how I would do it too, is if I wrote a show, and you can do that these days, especially with Netflix and other things. I would I'm doing 4 seasons. I have 4 story arcs, and that's all I'm doing. That's all it will ever be. And I think a lot of networks now are okay with that.
They should.
Yeah. Because that whole continuation of 24 episodes, that's long. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
I think because they went with the BBC format of I'd rather have like Stephen Moffat. It's why people kept criticizing him when Sherlock came out. Why are you only doing 3 episodes per season? He goes, because I'd rather have 3 awesome episodes than 20 that are half of them are shitty. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It's a different era of television.
Yeah. And now you have the Netflix streaming where you don't have a commercial break, which is awesome. I mean, Netflix doesn't have to pander to that commercial break. I mean, when you're watching shows that have commercial breaks on Netflix without commercials,
it's like a podcast that has commercial breaks.
It's a weird, it's weird because there's this build up and then they break and then they come back and there's either resolve or they've jumped to something else and they're leading towards another build up and then stop, whereas in Netflix, you don't have to edit towards that. So,
speaking of commercials, have you guys, I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while I'll be on Facebook and I'll watch a video and I'm constantly scrolling through the videos that are the related videos after you finish that one. Is it me or have the ads in Facebook videos quadrupled in frequency lately?
I I don't know. I hadn't.
Like I feel like there's so many more ads every Facebook video I watch.
Well, sometimes I go, this video wasn't that exciting to start off with. I'm not watching the commercial.
Yeah.
So I don't need to see the end. And I hate to say that because obviously commercials pay, the people that I'm okay with some commercials, but there's just some shows that's like, it's not worth it. It's just not that good.
Well, yeah, like when they started doing that shit where you have like a 2-minute video and then you'll get 30 seconds into the video, then all of a sudden a commercial like pops up in the middle of the video. Like, shit, I just immediately turn it off. Like I don't even want to watch it.
I skip it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it when I'm like going to watch a trailer and I get a commercial. I'm like, I'm watching a commercial for your fucking product. It's a 30-second long trailer and I have to watch a minute ad about something else.
No, the worst though is like you're like, oh guys, I gotta show you this video I just saw on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious. This is so good. Hold on, let me just pull it up real quick. Blah, 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 shit, it's an ad. I'm sorry.
And we bitch and complain. It's like 30 seconds. It's like 30 seconds and we're bitching and complaining about it.
Unless you get one of those bullshit ones that they require you to watch the whole damn thing. It just drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how these people are making money. I mean,
I hate it when people do this for like product placement, like inside something. They're like, hey, you should go to Amazon. You should go to jjack.com/Amazon for all your Amazon needs. If you're buying anything that you need, it just helps out us podcasters.
Yeah, so go ahead.
As I say, JP in the chat was asking, what do you guys think of the 30 minutes of commercials before the 20 minutes of trailers in the movies now?
That fucking sucks too.
Yeah.
I hate that.
If I was still back in Tennessee, I'd be pissed because I would show up actually at the theater on time. But in LA, you can't get anywhere on time, so you're kind of happy that there's like a buffer there between the start time of the film.
We went to see Lego Movie
2.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, there were 30 minutes worth of commercials. Just.
But I don't. You don't have to pay. If you're with somebody, you can talk. You don't have to be quiet during or you can just scroll your phone.
I don't want to be that guy because that guy was sitting right fucking next to me the whole time, and he was like, "Oh man, that's dumb. Oh man," and then he was like trying to crack jokes, and I was just like, "You're not good. Like, just shut up. Like, look at your son. Like, is this the kind of comedian you want him to become? Because you're
just not fucking funny. Shut the fuck up."
Like, it could be worse. You go to the movies with Cliff and he's sobbing the whole time next to you, and people are going like, "Did you shut up your wife?" And I'm like, "That's not my wife."
During the commercials,
they really touch him.
Well, he likes the editing.
Mm-hmm.
It gets to him. It gets to him.
Some of us don't have friends to go to the movies with.
Oh.
Now I feel bad.
I do like, JP. I like that theaters. I'm not sure if it's come to Indiana or Raleigh yet. I'm sure it's in Boston, but all the theaters out here now have reserved seating.
They have that here. They didn't
have it there. They didn't have it in Tennessee when I was still there. So, I think that's awesome where you can go and just I'll take J12.
We're not in the backwoods.
They have ads in Indiana telling them how they were not first in flight. Or is Ohio?
No.
You are south of the Mason-Dixon line there.
We are a northern state that's a southern state.
Hey, we got electricity now in Indiana.
Right. Indoor plumbing. Cement pond.
Hey, I don't know if you guys have this yet. We got this.
I got it. Oh, I didn't get it.
We got this instrument. It's called a fork. And then tongs that come out, and we use it to eat salad with. It's amazing.
That's what thumbs are invented for.
So, if you want to buy a fork,
go on Amazon.
jjack.com/Amazon for all your shopping needs. My daughter has a birthday coming up next Monday. And
call next mom and find out what the best forks are to buy.
Right. I already took care of her gifts on it. So
you can go buy a box of toothpicks. It works just the same as a fork.
Or you could do that. So
you can get those on Amazon too.
Yeah,
you can get everything on Amazon. Right.
But if you also want to help us out, you can become a patron.
And everybody in the chat is a patron.
That's true.
Right? All of you. Thank you.
All of you.
Much obliged.
All three of you that were in the chat today.
Well, these patrons get to watch us live, but some of the patrons also get to hear some of our bonus content.
Yeah.
At the $5 or more level.
And I think Jay was a little worried when I told him, I said, well, last week I said we talked about Robert Kraft. He goes, oh, great. I said, no, it wasn't. I think he thought we were making jokes about it. I go, no, it was a serious conversation.
But no, we did have a serious conversation about it.
Yes. So I don't think he listened to it, but I told him, I said, yeah, it was. We went a little deeper than we normally do on these podcasts.
It's true, we did.
Yeah,
we go a little wild when we get into the extension. So
yeah, we're a little wild in your EPA.
But all of the Jay and Jack podcasts actually have some bonus material for you to check out. It's something new that we're doing for the $5 or more patrons. And what else do we have to say, Jack?
Well, this time I'd like to thank 6 patrons. We thank them all. Everyone in the chat. We thank everybody. Anyone who listens to us, the extra bonus stuff.
But specifically Drake in the chat.
Yeah. The Drake, yes. Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Rickner Glaffelter, Maggie the Magnificent. Actually, Eckhart had something to say about Owen Baru's barbecue today.
Okay, I'll have to check that out on Twitter.
He, as the producer of the shows, he was a little harsh towards you guys, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
What? I thought it was funny. Anyway, so Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Rickner Glaffelter, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, Ed the Creepy Letter Carrier, and the Drake, who's in the chat right now. And I still don't remember screaming at you at the Iceplex, but I did scream at kids all the time. Usually when I was reffing, I just say, shut up. I know you're not supposed to say that. Some people would get upset. You used a bad word. Shut up. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Stop.
He was probably twisting one up behind the Iceplex Friday night.
And didn't share.
Damn you, kid.
Give me some of that stuff. Anyway, that's all we got. We'll be back next week. This show will be out Tuesday. It's always a week behind, right?
We are. Right. We are a week behind. Or are we a week ahead?
Yeah, we don't know. There's your sitcom for the current sitcom, right? We're ahead, we're behind. I don't know. Anyway, hasta luego and goodbye.
See ya. Next
Tuesday. Damn it.
Oh, fucking it. Great show, guys. 1 and a Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.